Hi, it's Cara and today we're filming my April TBR / Magical Readathon TBR. Woo! This is the O.W.Ls Magical Readathon hosted by G over at Book Roast. There's an O.W.Ls this time of year and then a Newts in like August and some other ones scattered throughout the year. So this is our O.W.Ls, which is obviously a Harry Potter themed readathon with each of the challenges focusing around a subject in your O.W.Ls. So it runs from the 1st to the 30th? 31st? Whatever April has of April. So the whole month of April, there's 12 challenges for the O.W.Ls, one corresponding to each subject, and I'm going to attempt all of them. I also have some extra reads I want to fit in, and I do have some time off over the course of April, so over the Easter break, and there's some extra days off over Easter, so hopefully I can be real ambitious and get like 15, 16 books read, maybe? Okay, so we'll start off with the books for each of the challenges of the O.W.Ls Readathon. So these will be in alphabetical subject order. I have them in my, I mean it's not a beautiful layout. I'm no bullet journal person, but I have them written up in here. There's also careers associated with this round of the Magical Readathons, and I'm going for the career goal of healer, which means there are some of these I'm going to be prioritizing. That just means I'll read them earlier in the month in case I have a mental breakdown or something dramatic happens and I end up not being able to complete everything. So I don't have all of these on me. Some I have only on audiobook, some are new releases that haven't come out yet, but let's get started. So the first one, which isn't part of healer, but is the first on my alphabetical list, is Ancient Runes, and this is to read a retelling. So for this I'm going to be reading Arusha and the End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. This is an awful cover. It's what my library had, but it's awful. So, oh well. But obviously it's a library copy, so I'm not keeping it. This is a young adult, no, middle grade fantasy from the Rick Riordan Presents range, which are all focusing on mythology from that particular author's background. So I believe this is Indian mythology, Hindu mythology, and we follow Arusha, who is a little bit of a like liar to make herself look better, and she accidentally like releases an ancient demon. So that sounds fun. So a retelling of Hindu mythology. I think it's Hindu, but Indian mythology of some description. Sorry, the angle or the lighting might have changed a little bit. I had to go pick Jessie up from a tattoo appointment, so it's been like half an hour. Anyway, let's keep going. So the second challenge is arithmancy, and this is to read a work by more than one author. And for this challenge, I'm going to read Once and Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy, who are a partner working duo. This is it hasn't come out yet. I've got a pre-order out for it, and it should come out right near the end of March, so for me next week. And then it will probably take a couple of days to deliver to me, so hopefully it'll be here by the start of April anyway. And this is a sci-fi futuristic retelling of King Arthur, where Arthur is a girl and Merlin is aging backwards, and it's supposed to be really queer and it looks really cool. So I'm excited to read this. Then the next challenge is astronomy, and this is to read a book with a star in the title, and for that I'm going to be reading The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Kowal. I should also say that this and Arusha both also are books for the BookTube SFF Awards, and I'm trying to get all those read by the end of May as well. So these go towards that too, but irrelevant. So Calculating Stars is going for arithmancy. This is the first book in, I think it's currently a duology, though it could be an ongoing series. It's the Lady Astronaut series, and it's like a alternate history, 1950s, where everyone rushed into the space race and women were a big part of that. So it's got a very feminist focus, and it's a little bit chunky. It's like 400 pages, just over 400 pages, but it feels a little chunky. The second one also recently released, so if I like this, I will pick up the second one as well. It just looks really good. I have read Ghost Talkers by Mary Robinette Kowal as well, which I really enjoyed. So I'm definitely keen to try this. Then we have Care of Magical Creatures, which is a book with a land animal on the cover. This is one, no it's not, never mind. I'm talking shit. So this is a land animal on the cover, and for this I'm going to be reading Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. This is a Japanese inspired, because Julie Kagawa is Japanese, shapeshifters, Japanese mythology, uses the, I think the girl is a kitsune, they're the shape-shifting foxes. The sequel to this comes out in June as well, I think. So if I like this, I'll carry on to the sequel. I've heard it reads a lot like an anime, very episodic, so I'm interested to see if I like that. I've heard some people DNF this because it's dual perspective, first person, but flips back and forth between more than one perspective without indication of who it is. That could be fine for me, could be awful, so we'll see. I do have a vague backup for this if we get to it, but like if that comes to pass, but it's on my TBR anyway, so it's one of the extra books I want to read, so it doesn't matter. Shadow of the Fox is the plan. The next one is one of the Healer Career Path picks, and that is Charms, which is the age line, and that's read an adult work. And for this I'll be reading If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This I'll be reading an audiobook. I already have it on Audible, and it's about a group of Shakespearean students that like learn Shakespeare stuff at university, and there's a big drama thing that happens. Someone's been in prison for a while and it flashes between their past and the current. That's about all I know. I've heard it's amazing in audiobook, so I really wanted to take that route for it. And yeah, I've heard it's really good, so I'm excited to read this. Then the next one is Defense Against Dark Arts, which is Reducto, which is a title that starts with an R. And for this, this is also in the career path for Healer. And for this, I'll be reading The Red Scrolls of Magic by Wesley Chu and Cassandra Clare, which is a Magnus and Alec trilogy set between City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels. I think it overlaps City of Fallen Angels somewhat. I am really excited for this. It comes out on like the 9th of April or 6th of April or something like that. I'm very excited for it. I'll be picking it up like as soon as it arrives in store. And I'll be reading it really quickly for this one. Yeah, it's a perfect choice. Then we have Divination, which is a book set in the future, and for this I'm going to read Red Clocks by Lenny Zumas. I might be misremembering the author's name. This is a futuristic dystopian kind of story, looking at what would happen if the debate around reproductive rights in America went even further in the conservative route. And that's about all I know about it. Again, I'm going to be reading this on audiobooks, hence why I don't have a physical copy, but I have heard really good things, so I'm very excited to give this a try. Then we have Herbology, which is another career pick for the Healer Path, and that is to read a book with a plant on the cover. And for this I'm going to be reading The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. My copy of this that I have pre-ordered has forest background, so plants. This is a YA spooky kind of story. It's reminded me a lot of like Raven Cycle. It's got that kind of like magical realism fantasy element. I've heard amazing things. I follow Christine on Twitter and she's lovely, and I'm really excited to try this out when it gets to me. Then we have History of Magic, and this is to read something published at least 10 years ago, and for that I'm going to be reading Firestar by Crystal Lacey. This definitely came out more than 10 years ago. I reckon I've owned it from more than 10 years ago. This came out in 2000. Yes, no, 2005. Yes, 2005. This came out in 2005, in 2006 in this version. That's definitely more than 10 years ago. This is a middle grade fantasy. I've been rereading this series. Technically, I never finished this particular book because I was a trash child. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, just because something else would have come into my possession that I was really excited to read. So I got about halfway through this, I think, when I put it down initially. This is book 3 in the Last Dragon Chronicles, and this follows David Rain, who's a college student boarding with this family who make clay dragons, and there's lots of things that happen. I believe from the book after this is where things really start to take off, and it kind of transitions between middle grade to young adult. David's a college student the whole way through, so there are some pretty adult elements to this regardless. But this is the one I'm up to. I'm reading one every like second month, so gotta read this one. Then we have Muggle Studies, which is to read a contemporary, and for that I'm going to read The Female of the Species by Mandy McGuinness. This is one of my 5-star predictions, and it's about a girl whose older sister was murdered and the killer walks free, and she's going to get revenge, I believe. So this has a lot of dark themes and a lot of feminist stuff. I've heard a lot of people say amazing things about it, so I'm excited to give this a try. Then we have Potions, which is the next ingredient, a sequel, which is part of the career goal again. And for this, I'm going to be reading A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers. This is the second book in the Wayfarers trilogy, and I'm reading these for the BookTube SFF Awards. I need to read the third one before the end of May, so I'm reading this one this month. This one follows Lovelace from the first book, and Pepper. So I'm excited to read this. It's a little bit shorter than the first one. It's only 350 pages. The first one was like 400 pages. So I'm really excited to read this. Obviously it's a sci-fi. And then we have Transfiguration, also for the healer career. This one's a book with sprayed edges or a red cover. This happens to do both. And I'm going to be reading Spellslinger by Sebastian D. Castell. This is the first book in the Spellslinger series. I love these covers so much. It's got red sprayed edges. This is his young adult series. That's got magic. The tagline on the back is "Magic is a con game." So I'm really excited about this. There are 2 other new releases this month that I also want to read. There is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. This is a dark fantasy young adult, I believe, with a lot of morally great characters. I've heard really good things about this. It's a debut. Yep, I want to read it. I'm making time to read it this month, even though it's not one of the challenges. And another one I also want to read, which could fill in for the land animal challenge if I have to, and that's Descendant of the Crane by Joan Hay. I blanked for a second. I've pre-ordered both of these. Descendant of the Crane is a Japanese, I believe, inspired fantasy. I've been hearing rave reviews about it. I've pre-ordered that as well. So they both come out during the month, and I'm really excited to read them. Hopefully they get to me in a reasonable time and I can read them this month as well. If I get through all of that, because I do have quite a few days off, like we're talking unusual days off. I have 10 full days of break, including weekend over Easter. I have the first day of the month off because I'm working the Saturday beforehand. And yes, I just have a lot of time to read this month, hopefully. So if I get through all of those, there are some few things I could also pick up. So my final 5-star prediction from the video I recently filmed is In Other Lands by Sarah Reese Brennan. So I could pick up this. This is a portal fantasy with mermaids. And then we have some other new releases that have recently come out that I haven't had a chance to pick up yet. So we have King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo, which I could pick up. The re-release of The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab that I could pick up, which is quite short. So if I only have a few days left in the month, this could be a good option. The actual book itself is only like just under 300 pages, and then there's a short story that's another 50 or so pages in here as well. So this could be a really quick read. I also have Spectacle by Jodi Lynn Drock, which is a historical fiction fantasy following Jack the Ripper, which is it Jack the Ripper? Or just something very similar like that. A Parisian killer with a kind of Jack the Ripper kind of feel. And this sounds amazing. Another debut. And another recent release, this is For Dead Queens by Astrid Schultz, who is an Australian author, which I'm really excited about. This is a YA standalone fantasy, I believe. So there are also all of those that I could get to happily that I'm really excited about if I get through the rest of my TBR. So that's my TBR for the month of April and the O.W.Ls Magical Readathon. Comment down below if you're also participating in the O.W.Ls this year, and link me your TBRs in whatever form you have them, or just comment them if that's what you've got. I'd love to hear what you're reading for each of the challenges and what challenges you're hoping to attempt. Otherwise, I will see you soon with another video. I will be vlogging throughout the month. I don't know how often. I'm going to do every couple of days. I'm going to edit and upload. So they're not going to be daily, but they're not going to be weekly either, because I was finding weekly vlogs are a lot of content. So I might do like every 3 or so days I'll edit and upload a vlog. Just when I feel like I have content. But if like obviously I don't get a chance to vlog anything for a while, it might be more spread out for a portion of the month. But I do intend to vlog regularly, so keep an eye out for those. Unlike in March, where vlogging was basically my only content, as you would have noticed, I'm gonna also have some other content up in April. So look out for that as well. So thank you for watching. I will see you soon with another video. Thank you so much, and I hope you're having a good day.